Hello and welcome to all our viewers. You're watching Project Talk webinar by PropTiger, where we connect our buyers with best in the industry. I am Naveen Mahalingam, host for the day, and today we are joined by the expert panelists from a very esteemed assets group. I would like to introduce Mr. Chandu Nair, Senior Project Head of Assets Group. Thanks for joining us, sir.
My pleasure.
From PropTiger, we are joined by Mr. Naveen Parikh. Welcome, Naveen.
Thanks.
Today, we are going to discuss about projects of Assets. Assets Group is one of the leading real estate brand known for creating luxury residential projects in Bangalore. Now, I may request panelists to go ahead with a brief introduction of the company that they are representing. Mr. Chandu Nair, would you like to go?
Yeah, sure. Assets Property Group was actually founded in 2006. This is actually founded by Mr. Ben Salmon, who's an Australian. The company was set up in Singapore, and we started off with commercial tech parks. In fact, the first project was Vrindavan Tech Village, which is now Embassy Tech Village, and then subsequently we moved on to build a global technology park, another SEZ, in Bangalore. In fact, Vrindavan Tech Village is the first Platinum LEED certified IT SEZ in Bangalore. So, however, eventually we also moved on to the residential sector. We also have a warehousing vertical, and we also have a private equity funding. We also invest in private equity funds. We have invested in about 13 funds till date, and we have exited positively with profit out of 9. We have a few more still running now. However, these days we have focused more on the residential sector in Bangalore, and so we have about 14 projects underway. See, the total currently, if you ask me, we are about 500 acres of land acquired and licensed. And we have about 16 plus projects, which includes 2 new launches happening immediately. And we're talking about 5,000 plus residential units. This is from a start which happened in 2006, and periodically we have been getting into more land acquisitions, joint developments across Bangalore, starting from North, CBD, and focusing more these days on East and South. So that's that's about the group. Investor-driven, institutional. We have enough institutional funding, and we have key partners like JLL, Mapletree, Kotak, Aditya Birla, and others. So this is where we stand as on today.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Mr. Naveen Parikh, please introduce the company that you are representing.
Sure. So about PropTiger, PropTiger is basically one of the India's largest online to offline real estate advisory firm. We are present across Pan India, and the best part is we are coming up in tier 2 cities as well. We started our launch in Goa, Coimbatore, as well as Chandigarh. Basically, we have, as on date, in terms of statistics, we have 25,000 satisfied customers, and we have sold a property worth of 15,000 to 16,000 crores. We are completely into service sector. So the kind of services which we give to our customer is it's a one-stop solution for all their doubts in terms of real estate inquiry, starting from assisting them in site visits, helping them out in shortlisting properties, or even in terms of negotiating on behalf of them, plus even after sales service and and plus home loan department. So these are basically all the services we provide to our customers. So today, in association with Assets, we are, in brief, we are presenting Assets as a group, and plus what are the projects which we can offer to our customers as per their requirement.
Okay, great, wonderful. Thank you, Mr. Naveen. Before we move on, let me show you how asset properties look like. So here's the video for all our viewers. So can we have a video, please? Well, thank you so much. Can we have a project presentation? Yeah, thank you. Mr. Chandru Nayat, would you like to walk us through the project presentation?
Yeah, I think more or less covered by the video, but I'll just give an overview.
Okay.
And basically run through the projects which are there currently. Next. I think we have discussed this already. Yeah, so this is basically the structure which we have at Assets, the management, the founders, executive and non-executive members, and the current strength, which excludes the semi-skilled labor at the or workforce at the projects. We are basically present across Bangalore, where we have the residential sector primarily. Mumbai is where we have the warehousing and the fund management verticals running through. Singapore is the base for Assets Capital. Australia also we have investors and presence there. And London we have an office. That's basically about the structure. Next. Ben Salman is the group CEO and partner. He was also the founding partner. Jagannath Shetty is the CFO, also a partner. Akshay Divani basically heads the residential sector and is based out of Bangalore. These are the non-executive team who are the backbone basically for the fundraising and fund management part of it. The key partners, funding partners, and institutional funding which we have raised over the years, commercial and residential segments. So this gives an overview about the commercial spaces, the residential projects which we currently are running, and the warehousing vertical of it. As you see in this image, we basically give a lot on design and space utilization. This is actually a project known as 38 and Banyan, right in the CBD segment. Very uniquely designed because there was a banyan tree there. So we had two options. We could either cut the tree, make it a typical structure, standard structure, increase the numbers probably. But what we've done is we've retained the tree, and that's one of the USPs across all our projects. We don't cut trees, and we basically build around the trees. So that's why you see a structure like this. Yeah. This is basically the flow of projects starting from the northern end where we have Shettigere. We have a plotted development there, currently named as Pioneer Ikigai, and up to Begur, which is a southern end where we have a Canvas and Co. These are the 11 projects running, and two more to be launched. We have one in Shettigere and one in Jaku. And we have about 5 projects completed. So this just gives you a feel. We have across Bangalore, including West Bangalore also. Yeah. These are the completed projects. We started off small in the sense, small in volume, but large in sizes basically. That's at 27 Park Avenue at HSR layout. That's on 27th Main. Large unit, 4,540 square feet onwards and going up to 9,200 square feet. Very premium, high-end duplex units. Then we ventured into Outer Ring Road towards Sarjapur side. That's East Point here. All completed projects, well finished. Yeah. Lumos in Yeshwantpur. Stratos, CBD, Kanayam Road. Mark, which is a 22-acre land parcel, 8 towers coming up, around 1,900 square feet, 1,900 units totally. One phase completed, people have moved in. We have 2 towers currently running, 5 more towers to come there. That's in Whitefield. 63 East of Sarjapur Road, 26-acre land parcel, just 6 towers. We also have a row house project called Leaves and Lives there. Well spread, sticking on to the concept of smart space utilization and design. A lot of focus on design. All these projects, tucked in wardrobes. A lot of greenery across. We have ensured that we give a lot of space in and around the project. So the trees are retained. Yeah. Here and now of Tanisandra Road, completed, ready by June this year. 18 and Oak is a 177-acre land parcel. It's an 18, there's an existing 18-hole golf course there, known as a Clover Greens. Large plots, very large plots, 4,400 is the smallest, going up to 16,000 square feet. Very uniquely designed layout with golf facing units and non-golf facing units. Yeah. 38 Benin, as we started off discussing, in CV Raman Nagar, large units, 3 and 4 bedroom, soil and soil of Hennur Road. Yes. Earth and Essence is actually inside the Sami's Dreamland cluster there. Large row houses, plots also starting from 1,500 square feet and going up to 4,800 square feet. Well designed layout. Leaves and Lives again off Sarjapur Road, tucked along with 63 East. Very unique design, 2-side opening. You have a garage at the rear side, and you enter the main doors in the front. Smartly designed homes, split level. Yeah. Sun and Sanctum under construction of Kayarpuram. A canvas on a go at of Begur, facing the Begur Lake, 8.5 acres of land just facing Begur Lake, 26 floor structures. Yes. Commercial spaces, we might enter into it eventually, but as of now, we are focusing more on residential in Bangalore. Vrindavan Tech Village, which where we started off in Bangalore with, and a global tech park. This is a tech park which we have finished, completed in Bhutan. So we also ventured overseas for the commercial venture. And Ainesh is basically is what we built for a hotel development. So that was our entry into the hospitality sector. Logos is the vertical which basically focuses on warehousing based out of Mumbai. Yeah. So this is the investment pattern which we had. We're looking at, we have investment partners from Australia basically there. And we are spreading across multiple markets, starting with Mumbai and then moving on to Pune now, NCR, Hyderabad, Bangalore eventually, and also Ahmedabad. So this is the global platform. So we have a presence in Australia in 4 cities. We also have a presence in China, Mumbai as of now, and Indonesia. Yes. Yeah. So this is just the overview of the projects which we have completed and which we are currently running through. Yeah, no.
Okay, thank you so much for taking us through the project presentation. And every project is uniquely designed and it has its own USPs, right? So let's get into some question and answers. So the first question goes to Mr. Chandu Nair. How has COVID-19 impacted real estate construction in Bangalore? And what is the present situation now?
We were no different from the market in general. We also had our challenges due to the COVID pandemic. The main challenge was from a construction perspective, we had shortage of labor. So we have contractors from Shapurji, Simplex, and others. So we had the labor force moving out of city, to their own places. We had a brief period of challenge from that perspective. Also, there was a lack of comfort from the buyers to venture out. All said and done, we still are in a touch and feel industry. People would still love to see the properties or feel the location, understand the location, look around before taking a call. That's the negative side of it. But what happened, Swasti, the positive side to things was we post relaxation of the movement across city, we had a better conversion ratios, to put it that way, because we had more of serious buyers coming in, venturing out, basically for a good deal, so which actually we also entertained or the whole industry wanted, because of from a cash flow or a cash crunch scenario. We also wanted to offload some units during this period. It worked for either parties. I would say it was a good a price and then a value-based selling. Eventually, you need to show value to sell, but we also had a price-based selling pattern, which worked out for serious buyers, and it also helped us to garner some funds and liquidity immediately after the lockdown. So lockdown basically wasted about 2-3 months. So now what's happening is there's been a steady recovery in the market, and we also see a positive sign, because the buyer behavior has also evolved post post the pandemic. Now people are okay to venture out to the suburbs or the outskirts, as they call it. So now we don't need to be necessarily concerned about people looking at property next to their offices, because the workforce or the working patterns are also changed or evolved post that. We have a lot of people still working from home. It might be the norm for about 25% or up to 40% of the same workforce. We have seen more serious buyers venturing out. The properties towards the periphery of the city has also seen a lot of demand these days. Plotted developments are more in demand. People want to actually get into larger plots, buy and stay away from the CBD areas or the crowded zones. So that's the plus point. So yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. Mr. Naveen Parekh, what is the real estate market Bangalore been like in terms of demand and supply? Would you like to answer this?
Sure. So see, basically, if you'll see the statistics, the post-COVID, the demand of real estate has been increased drastically, because I think people gets to know the real value of home. I mean, they want to have their own home. They want to. I mean, that's what we say: stay home, stay safe. So I mean, the demand has increased drastically post-COVID. Yeah, initially 2-3 months there was a struggle because the lockdown was implemented, but the moment lockdown was lifted, things have came back to normal. And even PropTiger as an organization has done a lot of initiatives. We have taken a lot of innovations and initiatives. We started live webinars where we have shown all sort of projects to our customers, so customer doesn't have to come to the site physically. They can just overlook the property through the system, and we also got a lot of queries through online with the same thing. And there were customers who have booked. I mean, the good part was, like, instead of having multiple visits, customer used to come only once, and they don't used to get the complete families. I mean, their parents, they just used to come with their wife if it's required. And most of the things happen online, and we have seen a lot of bookings during that time as well.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Naveen. Mr. Chandu, so this question goes for you. So why should I consider East Bangalore and especially Sarjapur Road and Old Madras Road?
I would put it in a different perspective. Now, East and South Bangalore basically is the crux of your IT zone. Now, you have your ITPLs, you have your outer ring roads, you have Sarjapur Road, you have profit centers, you have your companies spread across Marathalli, Whitefield, Vartur, Brookfields, that belt. So this has been the backbone of the IT belt. Let's also talk about Electronic City, which also has has a huge crowd working out of it. So it still remains the same, irrespective of the fact that people are mostly working from home. The demand for real estate has always been active here. As Naveen put it, now we had a brief lull period, but the markets have picked up. Now we have more of serious buyers, but the demand to be within the areas of their work, all said and done, is still there. So East Bangalore, Southeast Bangalore has always been an in-demand zone from a residential housing sector perspective. So it's still in demand. We still have a shortage of inventory, I would say, if you ask me that way. So we've also seen some drastic change in buyer behavior also. Now we have a property known as 18 and Oak in Sarjapur. This is basically it falls in Tamil Nadu. There's been a huge demand for plots there, in spite of the fact that it's comparatively far, from your outer ring roads. But the demand for properties in and around East Bangalore, if you want me to justify, 18 and Oak is the prime example. So I've been selling enough plots, and I've been selling more, these days in East Bangalore. So, which is a clear sign of things today. Yeah.
So
Thank you so much.
On to what Chandu said, I mean, if you talk about Whitefield is completely an IT hub of Bangalore. I mean, 90% of the buyers who buys in Whitefield are from IT. And you have 3 triangular location. One is Whitefield, one is Outer Ring Road, and another is Sarjapur. And as rightly mentioned by Chandu, there is again an inventory issue as well in nowadays in Whitefield area. So I mean, the reason Whitefield or East Bangalore has boomed out is because of that completely 90% that goes to the IT only.
Correct, correct. Thank you so much. Um, what are the ready-to-move in options or a nearby position options available in assets, Mr. Chandu?
So ready to move in options currently. So you're talking about across assets?
Across Bangalore, so ready-to-move or nearby position, any option that you have?
Position we have in Mark, we have a tower which is getting ready in the next 1.5 years. We have a tower getting ready at 63 East, but I don't have inventory there. So then most inventory I would say is rather spread for the next 1.5-2 years timeline.
Okay.
Soil and soil, we have we have inventory there, which is closer to possession. Here and now is that's closer to possession, April 2021 this year. We have a few units left out there. Otherwise, it's more or less spread 1 year, 1.5 years, 2.5 years in that range.
Got it. Thank you so much for answering all the questions. And now I would like to request the panelists to give the closing remarks. Mr. Chandu, would you like to go?
Yeah, I'll just add on to the points discussed so far. So I would say, having seen the up and downs of this industry in the last 20 years, I can vouch for the fact that we periodically have challenges coming up, like the pandemic. 2007-8, we had financial markets crashing. Real estate has always bounced back. It's been still buoyant in spite of multiple challenges. We had the demonetization effect. We had GST being revised. We had your RERA affiliations coming into place. We've always been challenged by things beyond just real estate. But real estate, especially the residential sector in Bangalore, has always bounced back. It's been buoyant primarily because of the fact that we still are an end user driven market here, unlike, let's say, Gurgaon or Noida that way. So as long as we have serious buyers intending to buy and stay, this market is only going to be more buoyant and sustaining. So it's here to stay. So the city has been expanding towards all sides. Sarjapur has been pushed towards Sikh Tirupati. Your Whitefield is going towards Katagudi and beyond. Your north is ever expanding. There is enough demand as long as you give value. Assets basically stands for the same point. We stick on to our USPs, which are primarily focused on design, smart utilization of space, and what we can contribute to the nature. Our upcoming projects give a lot of focus on water recycling, water conservation, recharge pits, your conversion of blue water, gray water, black water into RO, drinkable water, zero outfill to of waste to the nature, which means maximum recycling at the project stage itself. So that's what we have been focusing on, and we are here to stay. So we have been launching even during the pandemic period. Canvas & Co at Begur was launched during the pandemic period itself. So we are on. So we are positive about the market. So and we are very price sensitive also. So we give value to the buyer. Yeah, that's what I can comment on.
Thank you so much. Mr. Naveen Parekh, your closing remarks?
So rightly said by Chandu. I mean, if you see this industry from past 10 years, which is last decade, there is a very smooth supply and demand which we are seeing over the period of time, and there is an annual appreciation of 8 to 10% as well. So I mean, that's why people say that real estate will be the best investment for anyone. Apart from that, if you'll see, If you talk about assets as a developer, the best part about assets is we have all sort of variants to give to our customers. You talk about apartments, plots, villas, row house, or a luxurious community. So we can serve all sort of customer because we have projects starting from 40-50 lakhs, which goes to 5 crore as well. So that's the best part about our assets as a developer, which we have all sort of variants to serve our customers. And again, another good news is yesterday I was going through the news that SBI has reduced the bank loan of interest to 6.75%. I mean, this is one time of historically, I mean, the attractive rate of interest which banks are giving to their customers.
Correct.
To see overall 20 years of timeline, you can save huge amount of money if you compare your rate of interest as well. So I believe it's a very much right time to invest, and demand is going up. People are moving in the market, and the purchase is happening in the market.
Thank you so much, Mr. Naveen Parekh. So by which, thank you panelists for joining in. It was great interacting with you. Thank you viewers for watching. Feel free to drop your queries on the social media channels. We will see you soon in the next episode of Project Talk series. Till then, take care. Goodbye.
Thanks, Naveen. Thanks, Sandhu. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much.